Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. Fancy seeing you here.
I know. Sorry, I'm laughing. Hi everybody, anybody watching this? This is our first tea with Fee and Tea. So we'll probably be a little bit disconcerted this first one. It's the first time. But yeah, what we're going to be doing with you. Well, we are going to release a recording or a video chat every week. At the moment, we're thinking Tuesdays. That's the plan for now. See if Tuesdays works. Tuesday morning, one will be released into the stratosphere or whatever sphere it is. We will be having cuppa conversations. Exactly. Each little conversation will discuss a topic. We'll give you a couple of practical ideas that you can use in class. The way that we natter, it may be more than a couple. You never know. We do plan them, but then we go completely off track, I'm sure, having done this sort of thing before with somebody else. Um, yeah, we're going to keep them short and make sure that we finish before our tea goes cold, which is a sort of homage, I suppose, to this series of Japanese novels for no particular reason. Tea. Speaking of tea, we're also going to mention what kind of tea we are drinking each week. And this week I've got Wallace and Gromit tea because they're such a great duo. And I thought, well, you never know. I can wiggle my eyebrows like Gromit. So maybe that makes you Wallace. But anyway, we are not Wallace and Gromit, obviously, with E&T. So, T, why do we think that we could do something like this?
It's a very good question. I mean, we both love ELT. It's a career that we're both passionate about.
Mm,
And I think there's lots that we can chat about. As you've already mentioned, we're going to be talking about a variety of different topics. Although really the way that our kind of partnership came together was through writing a book on teaching teenagers. But we're
yeah.
not just going to focus on that age group when we're doing these little cuppa conversations.
No, no. Our next book might be for different age groups.
Yes.
Yeah, what else? Oh, I've got my copy of the book here. Hang on.
Mine as
Oh,
well.
this is the book. And
Ooh.
actually, looking at the book, I noticed that the photos of us on the back, you've got the same background, yes. And I've got a different background. So maybe next week I'll have to go downstairs and sit. So I've got that background as well. But yeah, this is our book.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it much today. We'll talk about it another. We might delve into it a bit more in detail in a month or so, something like
Yeah.
that. Um, but uh, but yeah, I don't know. To give a couple of practical tips before we sort of mention what we might be talking about in the next couple of sessions. Um, I don't know, do you have a favorite activity that you're going to be using soon? Well, there's a point actually, something else about us. T and I work in very, very different um, context situations, which is another reason we think that hopefully things that we can suggest, but also questions that we can ask you guys, you people watching, because we're in different contexts that might throw up different ideas and different areas for research or discussion or whatever. So I don't know, T, do you want to talk a bit about your day to day?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is my day to day, often
Oh,
with a cup
right.
of tea, because I'm kind of predominantly online. I have a couple of group classes. I've got some teens, I've got some teen one-to-ones, I've got adult groups, I've got adult one-to-ones, but yeah, 99% online, um, with a few different nationalities. Yeah.
I was going to say, what's the profile of your students? Where are they? I mean, you're in Spain, I know that, but where are your students?
I'm in Spain, so a lot of the teenagers are Italian. But then the group classes, I've got a really interesting mix. Like there's one group where there's A Brazilian woman. There's a guy who's Argentinian but living in Spain. Then there's an Italian, and I think there's also a Latvian in that group as well. So it's a really lovely mix. I love that being able to work in a multicultural context, I think
Yeah.
is one thing I love about being online. And what about you?
Well, it's very different from you, basically. Well, I know T from working in Spain as well. We met in Spain. I was working in Spain for 30 years, pretty much. But now I'm in Oxford in the UK, and I'm in the classroom every day, the physical classroom every day. In fact, we'll be talking about how I get to the classroom next week, I think. Um, my classes are, I'm just thinking, I guess they're 100% Asian
Mhm.
right now. I'm trying to think if I've got any students aren't. I would say within that, there's about 75 to 80% Japanese. That's probably why this book came to mind. I've even got origami peacock on my desk as well. Yeah, they're mostly Japanese, not all. Taiwanese, Hong Kong, Korea, but yeah, mostly Japanese. And they are not particularly mixed age. Occasionally we get older, but most of my students are late teens, older teens, just like 18, 19. So sometimes you'll get somebody about 23, um, or mature students occasionally, but yeah, mostly 18, 19. So yeah, face to face. And of course, I do have experience teaching pandemic, a teacher trainer. I do teacher training. I work with a company called Sol, Sharing One Language. I do teacher training for them as well. Um, in summer courses and going to conferences and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of different from you, but given the number of years I've been teaching, I have got a lot of experience. So people from Tunisia, for example, like that picture, but that I can just see there actually. That was a gift from some teachers. So yeah, very different. I've kind of forgot where I was going with this, have I?
No, we were just kind of explaining our contexts.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so you
Right.
might notice as well. So, like Fiona was saying, she might be downstairs next week, so she can kind of mimic the picture
Yeah.
in the back of the
And it's the
book. I'm
beginning of
likely
the
to be here every week.
and the nature of YouTube. Um, so potentially anybody can be watching this at any time, but when we're recording this, we're at the beginning of the academic year. Or I am. Are you? Well, do you do the same kind of?
Yeah, yeah, no, I'd say my year kind of runs September till May, June. For the certainly for the teenage groups that I have, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
1 week into the course, so I'm just at that getting to know you kind of stage. Yeah. Do you have a particular like a favorite activity or an activity that you like are planning to, you've just done this week, or doing next week, or I don't know. What would you like
Well,
to
I'm quite
share?
lucky this year. A lot of my students are returning. But one thing that I did with them last year, and it's the first activity in the book as well, actually. And it's all about kind of getting to know their names and who they are for different people. So that's something that I did with them last year. But one thing that I've been doing recently, which isn't in the book, it's thunk questions. So this guy called Ian Gilbert, he just wrote this list of questions, and I think it was something the subtitle on the book was questions to make your brain itch. But the thing that I love about them is I love activities where there's no wrong answer.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
So
definitely, definitely.
it's things like, um, so one of the questions would be, for example, what color is Tuesday? And then the students kind of chat
Oh,
and they
that's
think,
a very me question.
but weirdly, so when I did this session a while ago and I used these stunt questions as one of the activities, one of the attendees actually said, but did you know that in Thailand, days have colors? So that for
Okay.
them would not be a thunk. question at all. It would just be a perfectly natural, well, it's purple, obviously, or whatever color it
Well,
was.
that's a curious. I mean, I have a thing called synesthesia. I don't know if you know what that is. So for me, days have colors.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everything has a color. Words and I mean, I wear a lot of color, and I think it's because I have this thing. But it took me ages to realize that it was that not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And I do remember a question, asking students in class years ago, like students who confused Tuesday and Thursday. And I remember kind of with it, like, kind of laughing with one group particularly who had made a joke out of this thing that I think they were ended up calling everything Tuesday or Thursday, with these sort of things. Um, and me kind of laughing, saying, "But come on, guys, how can you confuse them? I mean, Tuesday's so obviously yellow. How do you confuse the yellow day and the dark blue day?" They were
Hmm.
like, "What?" I was like, "Well, Tuesday's yellow."
Hmm.
And then we went, "What do you mean Tuesday's yellow?" But then I found other people with synesthesia and the same, and they have different colors for the
Hmm.
days. So I don't know, it's a really weird thing. But yeah, so for me, yeah, Tuesday's yellow. Come on, obviously.
Yeah. Fantastic. And well, what about you? What's an activity you've been doing with your students at the start of term?
Um, well, start of term's mostly testing, but I can tell you what I'm doing. Well, Monday, Tuesday. Talking about Tuesday too much. Monday morning. Let me think. Well, the first thing is a sort of similar, like a getting to know you thing. Remind me to come back to that thing about no correct answers in a second. Second session, I'm introducing them to how I teach pronunciation, basically, because I'm in the UK and they come here rather than you, where they're not necessarily living in an L1 context. We need to deal, my colleague and I, we need to deal with pronunciation fast.
Hmm.
We don't need to go into the big depths of, but we do need to get their communicative skills up quickly and also so that they can understand quickly. So I do a lot of stuff on sentence stress because when you do the whole stuff, a lot of the connected speech features come in quickly. And also it helps them, if you're doing like sentence stress, it really helps them with the comprehension because they're not even attempting to understand every word. And you just point
Mm.
out that, they just need to pick out the key words and then more or less construct the sentence. And then they can double check by saying, can I just check that I've understood this? Da, 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 da. And I do that by, well, later on we do dictogloss, but the initial stage is we do a lot of rapping.
Ah.
And I start with very basic stuff like fish and chips, fish and chips, fish and chips, salt and vinegar crisps, salt and vinegar crisps. Then we move on to buying a coffee, because buying coffee in the UK is not that easy. Exactly. So, what can I get you? What can I get you? And I have a little dialogue. Um, and we go through it and we identify the words that they would need to be able to hear in a really loud cafe to understand what they're being asked, and the words that the barista would really need to hear to get the
Hmm.
order right. We go through that and then we wrap the whole thing. What can I get you? Double espresso, that sort of thing. Um, soya auto regular, soya auto regular, that kind of stuff. Anyway, and then they do the A, B, stand up, be a barista and a customer thing. But then, of course, that feels a bit meh. So then I'll say, um, okay, baristas, you've been on your feet all day. You've got really sore legs. And customers, you're in a hurry. You've got to get back to class or whatever. So we do that. And then I use emojis. And I have a set, I haven't got them here, sorry, but I have a set of 10 emojis that I've printed out full color about that big. And I just shuffle them. The students have no idea what I'm doing. Shuffle them into order, and then I'll say to a student, give me a number from 1 to 10. And they give me a number. And I take I count, take the fifth one out or whatever. Give me a number from 1 to 10. Two, right, take the second one out. And then go, right, A's, this is your emotion. B's, this is your emotion. And they're all like, ah, and then they absolutely love it because they're being angry or in love with a barista or kind of,
Yeah.
and I usually include the flamenco lady as one of the emotions. So they're standing there going, "What can I get ya?" That sort of stuff. And they just think
Fantastic.
it's hilarious. They think
Yeah.
it's hilarious. And I've had a group, sorry, I'm talking too much, but I've had a group that when they went back to Japan, they hadn't met each other before they came here for the course. They were only here for 2 weeks. In summer, we do shorter courses. And, the academic year is the long one. But went back to Japan and they're all hanging out together in
Oh.
Japan. They made such good friends. Um, rapport. We'll be talking about authenticity and rapport in a couple of weeks, but um, and then one of them messaged me on Instagram and said, "Can you send us the slide for the fish and chips sort of vinegar crisps thing?" So I sent it, and they recorded it as a song for me,
Oh.
standing with emojis, and yeah, it's great. I love it. So emojis, and that one is in the book. No, I don't remember what it's called, emojize or something, but
Hmm.
it's in our book. Um, so yeah,
Well, I mean,
what
like
else?
you said, we're going to be sharing more practical tips as we go through, not always related to teens. You mentioned we've got
No, no,
authenticity coming up
yeah, yeah.
soon as a topic. What else have we got on the cards or in the pot? What's brewing?
Exactly. What's brewing? And hopefully not stewing. Well, we've got one about well-being. We'll be talking about well-being, I don't know, maybe like once a month or something. We'll talk about different aspects of well-being. So we've got one coming up that's about because the seasons are changing now, like how to um look after your well-being. We're
Hmm.
going from
Hmm.
warmer months to colder months or vice versa. And then, yeah, we've got authenticity of self, about being authentic as a person. So later on, there'll be one about authentic activities or encouraging students to be authentic, whatever. AI.
Hot topic.
Yeah, and we decided we're not just doing a thing on AI, it'll be specific because AI is here to stay.
Mm.
So it's not just one topic, it's sort of little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And we'll probably discuss the ethics of and how not to use it, or how to encourage students. Um, I think we've planned to talk about basically how to encourage students not to use so much AI,
Hmm.
because
Yep.
that links back to authenticity. What else are we going to be talking about
We'll
further on down
be
the line?
doing a little bit of a deeper dive into the book, like you said, but then there's also there's some reflective activities. So we'll be chatting
Yeah, we'll do
kind
about
of teacher
reflection.
development,
Yep.
practical ideas to focus on our own development because we do a lot for our students.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah. We've got empathy.
Empathy.
Um,
Oh, we've got a lot. We've got educational
yeah.
myths and kind of educational thinkers. That was another topic that we were
Yeah.
considering. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't
lots and
think we'll
lots.
run out of topics.
No, this is it. Maximizing memory. Yeah, there's loads and loads of stuff. We're here for a while,
Yeah.
guys.
Yep.
Lots of tea will be drunk, lots of cuppa
Exactly.
conversations. I don't
Fun.
know, how's your tea doing? Is it going cold yet? Oh, mine's
It's
getting there.
getting there. Yeah. I mean, I'm on the spicy chai this week. And it's not too bad actually when it gets a bit colder. I don't
Oh, mine's
mind
mine's getting
slightly
strong.
cold tea.
But I do like this. It's called, what's it called? It's called More Tea, Gromit. That's what it's called. That's very appropriate for this. We're gonna have more tea every week.
Exactly. And biscuits are optional as well.
Biscuits are optional, of course.
Yeah, we've
Oh,
got
I
no
forgot
biscuits this
biscuits.
week.
Maybe I'll remember biscuit next week. But I do have my mug that matches our little logo. Anyway, all these chats, we're hoping that those of you watching, first of all, we hope that there will be some of you watching. We'd also really appreciate it if in the comments you drop some things that you'd like us to chat about, any questions, anything you want us to address.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got Like, I don't know if you find that you're running out of ideas for teaching something particular, and it's a bit like having a kind of a colleague in a YouTube staff room. We can give you tips or ideas. We're not here to flog our books, so don't worry. It's not all going to be, it's on page 23. No, don't worry about that. However, do buy it if you want to. Um, and
Oh,
yeah,
and
we just,
about tips, we're going to be sharing tips over on the Instagram page as
oh,
well.
yeah, that's right. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, we got the lot. And we're going, what were we saying? We're going to, on the Instagram account page thing, um, apart from the video every week, we're going to post at least two tips each week, related to the topic that we've been discussing. Goodness knows what that will be this week because it's the
Do
intro
do
week.
some more kind of getting to know you activities as
Exactly.
people have
Yeah,
got to
that's a
know
good
us.
idea. Yeah. Introductions. There we go. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okie dokie. Well, talking about tea,
Tea's going cold.
it is
Time to
going cold.
finish.
So, yep, as Fiona said, drop us a comment, and we'll see you for another cup of
See you next
conversation
week.
next week.
Yeah. Tea with fee and tea.